The latest inflation read shows the price tag on what businesses pay just got cheaper. The producer price index for April came in lower than expected, down 0.5%. This follows Tuesday's consumer price report, that's what you pay, which also showed inflation cooling to a 4-year low, despite tariffs so far. And while critics warn of trade tensions, CEOs of major companies like Apple, NVIDIA, TSMC have committed billions in new investments to the U.S. President Trump says the total adds up to about $10 trillion, including over $1 trillion in new investment pledges from key Arab states like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, where the president is now. Jobs remain steady here in the U.S., and prices at the pump and grocery store, including eggs, have all ticked down. If this holds, you might possibly see a cut to your interest rates this summer. We also have our eye on the big, beautiful bill to extend tax cuts. Let's check in with an expert now, Anthony Saccaro, president of Providence Financial and Insurance Services. Anthony, good to have you back. So are you surprised at all this cooling inflation data so far, despite the tariffs?
Not necessarily, because the tariffs take a little while to work through the system. It's not something that's going to hit us overnight. And yet at the same time, what is a little surprising is that some companies might try to front run the tariffs by maybe raising prices a little bit ahead of time to try to acclimate. But I think a lot of companies have front run the tariffs by buying and building up their inventories so that they can kind of pass that on to the consumers when it does happen. It hasn't happened yet. We don't even really have a final tariff bill, right? It's that's still all being worked out. There's now an extended period for China and Trump to get back to the table. We don't know what that's going to look like. So it's not so much surprising that inflation's come down, but I also would not be surprised if this is the lowest number in 2025 and we start to go up from here. A lot of economists, including myself, think that inflation will start to grow, and that could be a concern.
Yeah, so it's anyone's guess at this point, right? But if this economic data that we have in our hand right now holds, what do you think the Fed will do with interest rates after their next meeting?
Well, the Fed has two mandates, right? It's full unemployment, or full employment rather, and it's inflation. They've got to keep that under control. Well, the unemployment numbers have been great for a long time. I think we're sitting at 4.2%. There's nothing wrong with 4.2. It's crept up a little bit. The labor market's strong. That's not been a question. It's the inflation that they've been trying to get down to 2%. And we're still in the twos. PPI, I think, was 2.4, if I'm correct. But the bottom line is that we're still there. So if all the data stays the same, there's really no reason why they can't cut in September, which is what the market is expecting at this point.
All right, as early as September, we could see our interest rates cut. Good news for people with credit card debt, mortgages and so forth. So we'll see, fingers crossed. So if Trump's big, beautiful bill to extend his tax cuts passes soon, what would that mean for our wallets?
So it's ultimately, I think it's going to be positive. It's not a surprise to anyone that he's going to extend the tax cuts that he put into play in his first office, in his first term. So that's not a surprise. That was to be expected. But it also has to be offset by something. And the question is, where is it going to get offset by? Some of it's going to be offset by the clean energy tax credits that Biden put into play. It's no secret that Trump is not so much a clean energy president. So if he cuts some of the credits that Biden put into play, that's going to help fund it. But there's also talk about what else is he going to cut? Is he going to cut some Medicare expenses? Is he going to cut some of the other federal benefits that are now currently going to today's seniors? Yet when you take in revenue, the fact is that something else has to be cut. Now, I think if I were Trump, I would argue the fact that we're going to be putting tariffs, and that's going to help offset some of the losses in revenue from the tax cuts as well, too. So we don't know what the end outcome is going to be. Ultimately, now I'm not concerned at all. I think that the tax cuts were good when they were implemented, and I think they're still going to be a net positive going forward.
Yeah, we also seen what President Trump said, $10 trillion in new investments from foreign companies, including Apple and these Arab nations. He's in the Middle East right now and have secured commitments from them as well. So might that offset everything? And that clean energy prices have come down. Oil prices have come down, gas. What Biden did, I don't know if it was clean energy, it was alternative energy, because I don't really think solar and windmills are clean. It's just alternative. But how do you think this bigger picture plays in to the offsets in terms of the bigger economic picture?
Well, it definitely plays in. And, when I hear these large numbers like 10 trillion, I do have to ask myself, is that the real number? It could be somewhat inflated, and there's no way to really measure it. But the fact is that, Trump is all about America first. And I'm all about America first. And I hope your viewers are all about America first. You should be. And bringing jobs back to America should be the number one thing that we try to do. And if you can get these large companies through your bills and through your incentives and tariffs to put jobs back in America, that's good. That's good for everybody all the way around. What that also does is by bringing jobs back to America, you can keep a tax rate lower. But if you have a 25% tax, say, and you are producing more, a 25% tax on more revenue, more growth. The reality is that could be the same number as a higher tax on less growth. And a lot of Americans, I don't think, really consider that if you have a growing economy, a lower percentage of tax on a higher percentage of GDP is going to equal the same number. So that's something to consider as well, too. By bringing jobs back here in America, I think we can grow the economy, and I think he can grow the economy to offset any of the tax cuts as well.
All right, it's all brewing. We'll see what comes out of it. Anthony Saccaro, president of Providence Financial and Insurance Services. Appreciate your time today, as always.
Thank you, Alicia.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.